Imagine this: Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Elizabeth Warren, two of the most iconic figures in American politics today, are standing face to face. The debate is intense, the stakes are high, and the world is watching. It's a fight over how far to push for change. But here's the twist. One is an advocate for radical transformation, while the other, she's more cautious, more calculated. And it's about to explode. AOC, with her fiery passion and bold vision, stands firmly for revolutionary shifts, breaking the system down, pushing for sweeping changes in how America works. She believes it's time for a revolution, a complete overhaul of the status quo. No more half measures. The rich need to pay their fair share. Healthcare must be universal, and education should be free. It's not just reform, it's a revolution. On the other hand, you have Elizabeth Warren, a progressive powerhouse in her own right, but with a different approach. While she shares many of AOC's progressive ideals, Warren is far more strategic. She understands that revolution can be dangerous. She knows that you can't change everything overnight without shaking the very foundations of society. Warren believes in reform, yes, but in a way that ensures stability, that doesn't rip apart the fabric of the nation in the process. The conversation starts with the usual progressive issues: healthcare, taxes, income inequality, but it quickly becomes clear that these two are headed for a head-on collision. Alexandria wants radical change, and Elizabeth warns of the risks. It's a battle between revolution and pragmatism, between a bold future and a stable one. At the center of this debate is a question that could change everything. Should America be willing to risk it all for a revolutionary transformation? Or is the system just too fragile to take such a dramatic leap? This isn't just a policy debate. This is a fight for the future of the country. Are you ready for the fireworks? Let's dive deeper into this clash of titans. As the debate heats up, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez steps forward with a fire that's made her a household name. Her eyes lock with Elizabeth Warren's, and the words start to pour out. She's tired of waiting, tired of seeing the same old system that benefits the wealthy and leaves the working class behind. AOC knows that incremental change won't cut it anymore. The middle ground? It's a road to nowhere. She's talking about dismantling the systems of inequality, the tax codes that favor the rich, the political structures that perpetuate corporate greed. It's not enough to tinker around the edges, Alexandria argues passionately, her voice unwavering. We need a system that works for everyone, not just the billionaires and CEOs. If we're serious about climate change, healthcare, and education, we need revolutionary change, not just a tweak here and there. The people of this country are desperate for a real shift, not just a policy overhaul that benefits the same people who've been profiting off their labor for centuries. It's time for the system to fall, so we can build something new, something that works for all of us. Elizabeth Warren listens intently, but her response is a reminder of the complexity of revolution. Alexandria, I agree with you on many points. Inequality is absolutely a crisis that demands our attention. But there's a reason revolutions often lead to chaos, she says, her tone calm but firm. You see, when you push too far too quickly, you risk destabilizing the entire system. Yes, the rich need to pay more, but we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We need policies that are sustainable, that don't dismantle our entire economy in the process. So, we need to build change from within the system, step by step, gradually but persistently. Otherwise, we risk tearing apart the very fabric of society that holds us together. And just like that, the stakes are higher. Alexandria's revolutionary spirit clashes with Warren's more cautious, strategic vision. It's a dangerous game of ideas, one that will shape not just this debate, but the future of the entire nation. The tension builds. Can the country really afford the risk of a revolution, or will careful, gradual reform be enough to address the deep-rooted issues that plague America? Stay tuned as the sparks fly higher and the conversation turns to the real cost of revolution. As the debate rages on, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez pushes harder, arguing that the current system is too broken to fix. The cost of not acting decisively is far greater, she says, her voice now rising with the weight of urgency. Every year, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the climate continues to spiral out of control. We're running out of time. Incremental change is a luxury we don't have anymore. Look at the numbers. People are suffering, and the political elites don't care. We need a movement that forces real change, and we need it now, not years down the line. Elizabeth Warren takes a deep breath, knowing that this is the point where the stakes get personal. Her tone softens but doesn't waver. Alexandria, I hear you. I see the suffering and I feel the frustration. But what happens when we gamble with everything? When you propose radical change without considering the consequences? What happens to the millions of people who depend on stability? What happens to those who've built their lives within the system we have? A revolution might give us a new system, but it could also destroy everything people rely on. We can make change, but we have to do it carefully. We can't risk tearing down the very pillars that support millions of Americans, especially the most vulnerable. As the two women stand across from one another, the debate shifts to a more fundamental question. How far are they willing to go for their beliefs? For Alexandria, it's about the urgency of the moment, the fact that people are suffering now and need radical action. For Elizabeth, it's about the long-term consequences, about not letting the momentum of frustration lead to the kind of instability that could cost the country everything. The tension grows even more palpable. Alexandria pushes for revolution, and Elizabeth fights to protect the foundation of America's existing systems. As they debate, they begin to raise the ultimate question. Can we really afford to risk everything for change? Or are we walking a tightrope that could break under the weight of a revolution? The debate reaches its peak, and both women are at their most passionate. Alexandria's voice is clear, her resolve stronger than ever. She's made her case, and she's not backing down. Revolution is the only way forward, she asserts. The system is so corrupt that only a complete transformation can save us. We can't afford to keep playing by the rules that were set up to protect the rich. If we want real justice, we have to be willing to take bold risks. The people want change, and they deserve it now, not later. We have a moral obligation to act. Elizabeth, standing strong, counters. You're right, Alexandria. The system is broken, but I don't believe the answer is to destroy it. The stakes are too high and the risks too great. A revolution isn't just a shift in policies, it's a shock to the entire nation. And in that chaos, the most vulnerable will suffer the most. We can make changes, radical changes, but we must be strategic, calculated, and sustainable. We need a plan that doesn't tear the country apart in the process. And there, in that moment, the debate comes to a head. Revolution or reform, radical change or calculated steps forward. It's a battle between two visions for America's future, two women fighting for what they believe is best for the nation. As they each make their final arguments, one thing is certain: this clash is far from over. What happens next will determine not just the future of their political careers, but the future of America itself. So what do you think? Revolution or reform? Drop a comment below and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the conversation.